So for folks who haven't seen my first documentary, which why? But it's about the confluence of
It's called Hard Road of Hope.
Yes, hardroadofhope.com. You can check it out there. It's about the confluence of coal and fracking in the state of West Virginia and how together these two entities have and are continuing to completely fucking destroy the state. And I don't mean destroy just in the classic sense of like, oh, you're destroying an ecosystem because of the dirty energy, destroying community, destroying livelihoods, destroying all of the things that you could possibly destroy.
I mean, they've destroyed the world, so why not a state?
I mean, seriously. So the the article starts off with a Department of Energy scientist screaming with a Geiger counter, "These are the highest readings I've ever seen," which is not the shit that you want to hear.
It's not, you know, when the real estate agent takes you around to look at houses, rarely do they say that.
In fact, I find that few real estate agents have Geiger counters
with them.
And maybe that's why.
Hey, folks, you better get in now. These are the highest readings I've ever seen.
So this is it's known as, so it's basically like it's a West Virginia hilltop, and it's known as kind of a party place for the kids, you know? And it is right by the dilapidated main building of Fairmont Brine Processing, a fracking waste treatment plant that ceased operations in 2017. And
that's where the kid, you know, it's really sad when today's kids, the only place they know to go to work, to go to party is the dilapidated brine filtration plant.
So, and the article continues by saying the radioactive dirt is far from the day's only disturbing discovery. Good, there's more.
We also found 2 kids fucking in the woods.
The moat of scuzzy water surrounding the processing building also reads radioactive.
Dude, can we please find a nice, safe, clean area for high school kids to lose their finger virginity?
But here's the good news, Lee, is that if they go there enough, they'll also glow in the dark, which I feel is quite festive, especially with Halloween right around the corner.
Which parts of them will glow in the dark?
You use your imagination. Okay. So too, the mud that coats the floor of a second building littered with empty beer cans that testify to the site's popularity as a party spot.
Jesus.
It
says condoms litter the facility grounds.
Yeah.
God, I thought I was kidding.
No, literally a former oil field worker would later tell the journalist, quote, "Kids are screwing there."
Wait, so does the Geiger counter count condoms as well? These are the highest readings I've ever seen.
I mean, I feel like radioactive condoms that's a whole other level of terrifying.
There are glow in the dark condoms, but now you don't have to get those. You just bring regular condoms.
How do you know that?
I know.
Oh man, that's disturbing. Okay. You don't
understand
in any of your orifices, ladies, gents, and non-binaries, because that shit is definitely toxic. So just don't.
You don't understand what you see attached to the wall at rest stop gas stations when you're using a urinal. There is a dispenser of condoms.
Oh, I've seen condom dispensers.
They'll say things like radioactive, French tickler. My favorite one I ever saw was Osama bin Laden shaped. And that blows my mind because that shows such disrespect to both your partner and your cock. Like, on so many levels.
Well, I remember back in the day, there were George W. Bush butt plugs. One of the guys at the studio actually bought some.
See, but why would you want George W. Bush up there?
Why the fuck would you want Osama bin Laden up there?
I don't know why you want any of them up there.
I don't know.
I wasn't endorsing any of this.
But it's all of it is unacceptable. Okay, so, opposite the treatment building, a pond of radioactive water is contained by a grimy white liner, stained orange from the metals in the brine.
Oh God.
Near it, in the unloading area, we find a crumpled bathing suit.
Wait, someone didn't go in.
Well, and that's it. That the guy he's with says, "My God, did they go swimming?" End quote.
Dude, there should be signs everywhere saying teenagers fuck somewhere else.
That's the thing. So, and on the other side of the unloading area, rows of gigantic red, blue, and green containers known as frac tanks send the Geiger counter into another string of beeps. Next to the tanks are a set of open dumpsters filled with bags of trash, metal scraps, and wet heaps of yellowish white goop that resembles oatmeal. Okay. So
what's the good part of the story?
Oh, there isn't one. Radium, thorium, polonium, bismuth, and various isotopes of radioactive lead are found at this Fairmont brine processing.
Well, good news, kids. I don't think you're going to have a successful pregnancy from the sex had next to this lake.
And this area is home to roughly 18,000 residents. The homes are not only visible from the abandoned plant, they are also so close that you can hear lawnmowers and barking dogs.
Jesus.
These people have no idea that they're living beside a fracking waste treatment plant so radioactive that a level-headed Homeland Security official would order the place wrapped in tape and direct the nearest radiologic SWAT team to round up the bad actors responsible for the mess, if it was terrorists. But kids, since it's a fracking company, nope. And that is the point.
Yeah,
right?
isn't it fascinating that you as a citizen or other individual can't bring a dirty bomb into this country, but if you're a corporation, you can dirty bomb all over the place?
Every day, 2.9 billion gallons of toxic and often radioactive liquids are brought to the surface at oil and gas fields across the country. The industry has a code name for this: water.
They call it water?
They call it water.
And
so, and again, this is something I cover in my documentary. The chemicals that fracking companies use to frack is considered an industry secret. So they do not release information about what's in it. So we don't actually know, besides, what they're able to pull out of the lab, like the radium, thorium, etc. We don't know exactly what's in it. And in the documentary, I also talk about there was a chemical spill that basically poisoned the water for the largest city in West Virginia. And one of the guys in the documentary says you could smell it. It smelled like licorice. And this is the kind of shit that happens in West Virginia. And with the water contamination, they said it was safe to drink. It wasn't. Obviously here, they're not telling the residents that they live next to their own little fucking personal Chernobyl. And I'm sure a lot of people would, rightfully so, think, oh, well, because it closed in 2017, no big deal, right? There's this sense of,
it's gone.
Well, since it's closed, it's no longer producing. But these companies have no accountability in terms of having to clean up or mitigate the filth that they leave in their wake. And that is the reality. I mean, if you look at, a lot of the aerial footage that I shared in the documentary shows mountaintop removal sites that are no longer operational, but they look like shit.
Yeah.
Because they don't clean them up, because it's too hard. And because they'd have to then tell people there's some toxic shit happening over here. And then people might not want it next time, right? They might be like, hey, I don't want this toxic shit next to me.